Welcome back to Robot Wars, where 3rd Seed's endgame joined Siege in the semi-finals. And now, it's time to see who will be our 3rd machine to join them. We'll be kicking things off with a real banger as Yovatono comes in against the newcomers Cage and Bigger Brother. Behemoth returned against Blip and the Super Heavyweight Machine Backwhacker. And 20 Siege Witch Doctor hope to take out newcomers Beelzebub and the Super Heavyweight Machine Chinook. Yovatono Spinner. Definitely the weirdest named robot we had enter last Horse, but was extremely destructive and dangerous, and it ripped its opponents apart as witnessed in its first fight against Star Charlie and Stampede before falling into death or glory in the grand finals. They've earned the 5th seeding and are hoping to do much better this time and go all the way to the top, as long as I don't encounter too many flippers. Bigger Brother Flipper. Returning from the last wars after being thrown out of the arena twice by P1 and the Gold Rumble in Death or Glory, back with no real difference other than wanting serious revenge on P1, as well as a determination to go further than they did before. Cage Flipper. While there isn't much armor on the machine, the many bars make it tricky to get at the exposed electronics. The flipper blade is also very wide and has 2 CO2 cylinders for the weapon to add for more powerful flips, but that's if it manages to use it.
Roboteers, stand by.
Yovatono with the spinner and seeded number 5 for the competition. Bigger Brother with the top armor and the CO2 flipper. And Cage with their own CO2 flipper.
3, 2, 1, activate.
Yovatono definitely the one to watch, mainly because of the lethal blade. In comes Bigger Brother to throw them. Cage, their weapons up. I wonder why. And Yovatono ramming up the side of Cage. Meanwhile, I think Bigger Brothers and Cage are stuck together. Yovatono now separated the two. Bigger Brother self-raiding. And in comes Yovatono and batters them out the arena. Cage up and over. But Bigger Brother's thrown over the wall. Look at this, pushing Cage. Bats the side of Bigger Brother. And out the arena they go. And meanwhile, Cage up and over and are in trouble. Yovatono's stuck for a minute there. They're free now. But Cage, the weapon stuck up. It's been stuck up the entire fight. And the more they keep trying to utilize the weapon, the more CO2 they're going to be losing. And I think they are. Meanwhile, Yovatono pushing against Cage, throwing themselves over. They can immediately self-right. Off comes the tire for the pit release button. Lovely. That's going to be a recurring theme, I can tell you that much. Yovatono now trying to, I think, get Cage away from the wall so they can truly push Cage around. And I don't think they'll be able to get them out the arena. They've made him do a roly-poly, but I think really all Yovatono can do is throw them down the pit. They got a lucky blow-in to the side of Bigger Brother. That's what they got them at the arena. But as for Cage, down the pit. And that's the end of that. So, at the end of that, Bigger Brother into the Bronze Rumble, Cage into the Silver, and Yovatono seeded number 5 through to the Gold Rumble. And there we have a confirmation: Yovatono Gold, Bigger Brother Bronze, Cage Silver. Next up, Behemoth Backwhacker, and Blip. Behemoth Lifter. Back again after a battering in the last wars, they had serious problems with the drive, making it extremely sluggish, and ended up being smacked out of the arena by Diator. A strong build this time with a stronger lifting bucket as well as actual speed, with the only issue being that it's very flippable. Blip Flipper. Well, isn't that a happy face? Blip is a 4-wheel drive machine with a flipping weapon and 2 front forks to help get underneath its opponents. The machine is very fast and the armor is quite tough, but the flipper isn't as effective as the team would like because of where and how they built it. Backwhacker Spinner. One of the few few super heavyweights in the competition and very hard to get underneath. The spinning bar is the main weapon of the robot to deal serious damage, but sadly the electronics and drive chain are extremely exposed.
Robot ears, stand by.
Behemoth with the lifting bucket, Blip with the weirdly placed flipper, and Backwrecker, the super heavyweight with the spinning drum blade weapon.
3, 2, 1.
Great to see Behemoth back and in a new design, already trying to flip over Blip, who I think is sort of smoking a bit. Meanwhile, Backwrecker seems to be having a little bit of drive problems. They're stuck driving... Are they driving backwards or are they driving forwards? I have no clue. In comes Behemoth to lift them, and something's come off the bottom of Behemoth. I think it's part of the scoop. I don't think that'll overly affect them. Blip has a high ground clearance at the back, who's ramping up the side, up the backside of whatever part that is of Backwrecker. I have no idea. In comes Behemoth now to throw them over, and an attack from Backwrecker, and Blip stuck up on the wall. They can't get back from there. Look at this. That's Behemoth coming in, and there's Backwrecker making sure they can't come off. One of the forks of Backwreckers come off as well. I think Behemoth's trying to throw the machine out the arena, who now on fire. So can Behemoth toss out Blip? Will they be able to? They're trying. Meanwhile, I think there's a drive problem for Backwrecker. They're not moving. They moved a bit, but then they got stuck on the wall. I think there's a problem with the drive. Behemoth desperately trying to hoist out Blip. I don't think you'll be able to. You're missing part of your scoop. Now Behemoth comes in on Backwrecker. Ramping up them. They need... They've lost their part of the... They can still lift though! Look at that! Underneath Backwrecker and lifting them up. So despite the loss, they can still use the scoop just. But now they're stuck on Backwrecker.
Cease.
And that's it, because Backwrecker, they're not moving anywhere. They're immobilized, been ruled out by the judges, and it's Behemoth through to the Gold Rumble. And I've also been told by the judges that Backwrecker will be going into the bronze. There was barely any movement. They were sucking into the wall for the most part. They've been deemed immobilized. Blip will be going through to the Silver Rumble to join Cage. Next up, Witch Doctor, Beelzebub, and Chinook. Witch Doctor. Spinner. Back again from the last wars after being destroyed by Minotaur twice and even having a bit of trouble in its other fights as well. The one key factor to this machine, other than its spinning blade, is the self-righting mechanism on top to get it back into the action, with the major issue for the machine being the exposed wheels, an issue that caused them issues in the last wars. Beelzebub, Flamethrower. The main weapon is the flamethrower built into the wedge, which can also be used as a sort of lifter. The wedge is quite low, but the wheels are exposed, and the machine can't drive upside down for some weird reason. Chinook. Spinner. A very long robot with two big, deadly flywheels with the power to drive both ways up. The machine is also very quick to prevent it from getting flipped, but with a similar weapon set up to 13 Black from last wars, the blades might throw themselves up into the air.
Robot ears, stand by.
Witch Doctor with the spinning blade and the self-righting mechanism. Beelzebub with the flamethrowers. Two for some reason. And Chinook with the two spinning blades, copying 13 Black.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Who will be victorious here? Well, Chinook seems to be the threat in Witch Doctor's eyes to take them on, but it's Witch Doctor taking the damage. In comes Beelzebub. Beelzebub thrown up and over, and now are immobilized. I mentioned how they couldn't drive both ways up. There's the flamethrower for some reason. and there's a little lifting mechanism that thinks cam off, and Beelzebub's gone out the arena. Thank courtesy of the spinning blade there of Chinook, a great clash with the wheel. And now, what's happening to Witch Doctor? I think Chinook's ripping them apart. They've taken off the tires, and now the wheels can't touch the ground. They can't gain any purchase, and they're literally a sitting duck here for Chinook. And Chinook just batters the pit release button. They're battering Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor effectively, completely immobilized. And I think they're gonna go. And now Chinook's caught in the pit. They can't move. The wheel's too far over. Oh, that is beautiful. But Witch Doctor fully immobilized. They can't move. Chinook gets the victory. And there you have it. Chinook through to the gold. Witch Doctor silver. Beelzebub bronze. And this is how our rumbles look. Yovatono, Behemoth, and Chinook were meeting in the gold rumble, followed by Cage, Witch Doctor, and Blip in the silver. But first up, it's the bronze rumble with our three resident B machines: Bigger Brother, Backwhacker, and Beelzebub.
Robot ears, stand by.
The bronze rumble line up with Beelzebub, Bigger Brother, and Backwhacker. Wow, every machine in this fight starts with the B. That's not going to get confusing for me at all, is it?
1.
Well, it shouldn't, because they all have different names, just with B. But anyway, Backwhacker slamming into the wall. Not great driving there, Backwhacker. Meanwhile, Bigger Brother on the attack on Beelzebub, and seems to be trying to throw them out the arena. Backwhacker seems to be having drive problems for some reason. There's something wrong with Backwhacker. Beelzebub's up and over. Bigger Brother now trying to topple Backwhacker. The flamethrowers on Beelzebub go for no real reason, but they're up and over. They can't self-right. They are immobilized. And what is that pace on the floor? I think that might be off Bigger Brother. That might be one of the small little pieces of armor. There's the flip for Bigger Brother. And out goes Beelzebub. They are gone. And now Bigger Brother to get rid of Backwhacker. Bigger Brother, just gonna say this. Good luck throwing him out the arena. That is a super heavyweight machine. So you are going to struggle. And I think Bigger Brother's struggling to turn here. I think Bigger Brother's lost a wheel. Or at least a tire. They can't move. There is a problem for their drive. Oh! And now they've gone and thrown themselves over the pit. That's the problem. Meanwhile, Backwhacker stuck in the corner. Good technique there by Bigger Brother to use the flipper to get away from danger. And to Bigger Brother's credit, they are still very much moving. They are still able to move outside of their circumference. So while they are not fully mobile, it's not enough for them to be considered immobile. And in comes Bigger Brother Backwhacker, now completely immobilized. And I think Bigger Brother are trying to line up a good shot to throw Backwhacker out the arena. Good luck with that, because one, you're missing a tire, so one of your wheels cannot touch the ground, which is affecting your lineup, truth be told. And secondly, as I said before, they are a super heavyweight machine, and you don't need to. They're through anyways. Bigger Brother. They've thrown themselves up and over. Self-rights flamboyantly too. But it's Bigger Brother who makes her way through to the death or glory. as they throw themselves on the edge of the pit again. I love Bigger Brother. An amazing machine and a great feat too. Bigger Brother, they go through. Backwhacker and Beelzebub, they are going home. Next up, Cage, Blip, and the 20th Siege, Witch Doctor.
Robot ears, stand by.
Here we go, the Silver Rumble. The Flipper Cage, the Flipper Blip, looks pretty interesting. And the 20th Siege Witch Doctor.
3, 2, 1.
Witch Doctor has been to the Silver Rumble before, and they've been flipped up and over by Cage. Blip's up and over, they've subverted, and Witch Doctor, they've released the pin and they're down it! They're gone! That's it for the 20th Siege! They are out of the competition! Meanwhile, Cage on the attack on Blip. Is Blip okay? Is there something wrong with their weapon? In comes Cage and Blip's gone! They're in the pit! And it's Cage who goes through! Well done to Cage! And was that just a problem I saw with the wheel, I think? Cage is through, no doubt about that, but I think there might be a problem with one of the wheels. I just saw. Not control. They managed to get that fixed down in the pits, but well done to Cage. They go through to the death or glory. And it's commiserations for the 20th Siege Witch Doctor. They're going home. We also have to say goodbye to Blip. Hope to see them again. Next up, 5th Siege Yovatono against Behemoth and Super Heavyweight Machine Chinook.
Robot ears, stand by.
Can the 5th Siege Yovatono obliterate Chinook and Behemoth? Well, let's hope so. They are seeded 5 after all.
1.
But Chinook, very, very impressive in its opening fight. Up goes Behemoth, who has definitely improved since last year. And there goes Behemoth being thrown into the wall by Yovatono, who's definitely seemed, well, there's Chinook. Chinook, what have you done? You opened the pit and now you've thrown yourselves in it. Brilliant. That's just great. Now you're thinking about, oh, they've come out. Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? Look at this. They're bouncing around in the pit and they've boomeranged themselves completely out and colliding with the blade of Yovatono. And I think that was the bottom part of Behemoth's scoop that just came off. Behemoth can still flip and throw. Now how is Kai? Look at that, the scoop's gone. Behemoth lost that scoop. Look at this, there. Off it comes. And that means Behemoth now has no weapon. They cannot move. Yovatono trying to do anything. Chinook on fire. I think there is now a problem for Chinook. Behemoth still trying to be aggressive, still trying to be in the fight. And it's not gonna work now. They've been thrown up onto their front by Yovatono against the wall. And without the front bucket, I don't think they can get off the wall that easily. Yovatono lends a hand. Chinook, I don't think there's any life in them. They are out. They've been counted out. And there goes Behemoth flinging through the Well, probably for the best, really, Behemoth. Save yourself. Look at this. Yovatono flings him through the air. And then Behemoth goes, nah, I'm gonna duck down here. Well, Yovatono threw to the heat final. I mean, probably not the smartest thing, but he gets the job done, I guess. Anyway, this is the Death or Glory, Bigger Brother, Cage, Behemoth, and Chinook. Wow, B and C. Seriously?
Robot ears, stand by.
Bigger Brother has been to the Death or Glory before. He got here now through the Bronze Rumble. Cage, first time here, and They got here through the Silver Rumble. Chinook, also newcomers. They got here through the Gold Rumble. Behemoth, previous comers, but they've never made it to the Death or Glory before.
2, 1.
In fact, I don't think Behemoth's ever actually won a fight. They never did in the earlier series, the last one. They've all collided together. Behemoth spun away by Chinook. And is there a problem with Cage, I wonder? There probably will be after Chinook's done with it. Getting with him the spinning blades, and Behemoth, well, they're flinging Chinook away. Bigger brother. Behemoth trying to throw Bigger brother, but Bigger brother throwing Behemoth up and over. And now Behemoth stuck up and over, righted. And now I'm having a little bit of a fight with Chinook once again. And off comes the flipper, the flipping bucket, whatever's left of it's gone. Cage thrown up and over by Bigger brother. And meanwhile, Chinook's gone, but so is Behemoth. They're in the pit. Look at this. One fling there, but it's caused a rippling effect on Behemoth. They got Chinook over the wall, but it caused them to fall into the pit. And that's it for Behemoth. They are gone. They've definitely done better this time round. Hope to see them again and do much better. Meanwhile, Cage up and over, leaking CO2. Can Bigger brother now throw Cage up and over? Trying to. They actually met before, don't forget, in this heat, in the first preliminary battle. And now, Bigger brother up and over. Cage stuck on the side. There's no coming back. Bigger brother pulls a free wave and throws themselves out the arena. Bigger brother threw, of course, but throwing themselves out the arena in typical free wave style. It was the first machine to do that, but they're through. That was an interesting Death or Glory, I have to say. But there you go, Bigger brother, they go through, and it'll be a grudge match from earlier in this heat between Bigger brother and Fifth Seed's Yovatono for a place in the semis.
Robot ears, stand by.
The heat final, Yovatono and Bigger brother. They actually fought earlier in this episode, and Bigger brother lost.
2, 1.
So will Bigger brother get the payback, or will Yovatono prove to be the superior machine? Well, they weren't on that assault. Bigger brother throwing them up and over, and again. And right now, Bigger brother proving to be a tough contender for Yovatono. Bigger brother thrown, however, up and over, and again, and they've been struck on the underbelly by Yovatono. And right now, Bigger brother struggling with stuff right there, righted now, and are throwing Yovatono up and over again. They've been flung over themselves, righted, and are stuck on the tire, the pit release button. And now using their flipper as a sort of clamping weapon. This is really good tactics here from Bigger brother, and this is a really good fight. A really good heat final. And Bigger brother definitely trying to prove to be a tough contender. Throwing Yovatono again and pushing them, and they're throwing them. This is very good stuff, and Yovatono's in the pit! And so is Bigger brother. Yovatono's out of it. Bigger brother stuck in the pit, however, and now Yovatono back in. But what happened here? Let's have a look. Yovatono, they've spun out and gone in the pit. And I'm hearing from the judges that while Bigger brother are also in the pit and Yovatono are now once again out, Yovatono are eliminated. There's space, spin, and delight. But it's Bigger brother going through to the series semifinals. The Fifth Seed, Yovatono, they crash out. They won't be making the semis or the grand finals this time around. Well done, bigger brother! A big surprise and upset as Yovatono crash out, while bigger brother pick up their vengeance from earlier and grab a slot in the semis. Who knows what will happen in the next heat, but until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.